for giving us a very beautiful opportunity to perform Hajj yet again, alhamdulillah. I think it's been pretty hard. A lot of us have suffered physically. I can still see them suffering, subhanAllah. I personally had a few blisters on my feet myself, but alhamdulillah, Allah has healed them all. I really hope that Allah fixes whatever problems you're going through, especially the Hajj cough that most people take back with them. And I know some people have even gone to hospital, and even some people went to ICU as well, to that level, subhanAllah. So I ask Allah to give you all complete shifa, inshallah, and make this a means of complete purification from your ibadah. And inshallah, you don't forget this Hajj. One thing I've learned from my Hajj that I've done in the past, I never forget the people that I did Hajj with. For some reason I remember them, and some reason they remember me. I don't know what it is. Perhaps it's because if you travel with somebody in difficult circumstances in this life, perhaps that's what seals a friendship, or it seals a relationship, or it seals something in the future. Perhaps Allah will also give us another meeting in the Akhirah, which will not be a sour meeting, but be a very sweet meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the company of the best of people, inshallah. Throughout this group, a lot of you have come to me with loads of different issues. Of course, very specific Hajj issues, very specific medical issues as well, but actually a lot of life problems. Because now you are actually worried about what to do when you go back. Now the real challenge starts. Hajj is a challenge, but wallahi doesn't compare to the challenge of life that we have to now make, right? And not only that, but I've told you some very serious things. Don't go back and be the same person. That would mean that your Hajj is not accepted. You have to be a better person. You have to change, and that is the greatest challenge. So I was thinking from Fajr time till now, but all of the questions that people have asked me, and I said, how can I give them some practical advice? In the last lecture that I have, nothing of theory, but of real practical advice that will actually genuinely help them. And I have implemented some of this in my own life, and it has absolutely changed myself. And I hope that inshallah some of these practical points of advice can also change you, and perhaps overcome some of those rocks in the shoe that are stopping you from walking. And those niggling problems, you know, that itch between your toes, you know that one, this is the itch. You know those ones? Or that itch in the back is that you have to really bend over to itch. Those itches, somehow, that we can overcome them, inshallah, and become a more stronger human being, and a much more useful human being for Islam and Muslimin, and for ourselves as well. So I wrote down the following things. The first thing I wrote down is that people are genuinely concerned that some of their du'as are not being accepted. Genuinely concerned. I want to tell you about the story of one sister who came with me for Umrah. She came with me on Umrah about 2 years ago, and she came because we did a tour called Revival Tours. About 180 or 200 people came from all around the world with myself and 6 other scholars or shaykh that came with us. And she came to me, the first thing she said is, Sheikh, this is my son. This is the typical Indian, Bengali, Pakistani auntie, okay? She brings her son to me and says, Sheikh, I want him to be like you. Oh my God, she destroyed it already. She said, oh. I said, Auntie, I'm fat and ugly. You want him to be fat and ugly? He said, no, I want him to be a doctor and a scholar like you. I said, thank you, Auntie, Jazakallah khair. Let me just, I looked at the son, I said, don't worry about your mom. Let me speak to Auntie. So Auntie poured her heart out to me. She said, my son doesn't listen, he doesn't talk to me, he's got his friends, got his WhatsApp, he's got his Facebook, he's just so detached. And I've been making so much dua to Allah, it's just not changing. And how many of you came to me during Hajj and you told me about your husbands that are misbehaving with you? How many of you said about your wives? Some of you told me about your children. Some of you told me about some people in your family that are black sheep. Right? It's a real problem. So I want to tell you what happened to this auntie. Unbelievable. So this auntie kept on telling me and pouring her heart out. Problem after problem after problem. but how? And I'm just like, kya kare man? What's going to happen? After Auntie poured it out for about 20 minutes, I said, Auntie, you're the mother, right? This is your son, right? Yes. Didn't our Prophet ﷺ say that the mother's dua is accepted? I said, yes. So then why is your dua for your son, begging Allah that your son listens to you, why is Allah not accepting your dua? And she was taken aback. He said, yes, you're right. I said, then concentrate on that thing. Concentrate on what it could be that is stopping your dua from being accepted. So then, subhanAllah, she tells me, you know what? There's something that's been in my heart. I said, what is it? I said, I'm actually the manager of a bank back in Bangladesh. I actually manage the whole bank. I said, is it an Islamic bank? He said, no, it's a non-Islamic bank. I said, do you think that that could be what is stopping your dua from being accepted? That you are helping a riba institution? He said, possibly. I said, okay, then you know what to do. Ma'asalama. Then she comes back 14 days later at the end of Hajj, at the end of the Umrah period, and she's like, thank you, Sheikh, Jazakallah khair, wallahi, you fixed everything with my son. MashaAllah, and she's hugging her son, and her son's hugging her, and they're both kissing each other, you know, of course in a halal way, you know, and they're all hugging each other, and like mother and son in love. And wallahi, I had forgotten to speak to his son. I was so busy. Oh my God, as soon as I saw them, I was like, oh my God, Auntie's gonna kill me. I forgot to speak to the son. I was busy. You know, I've got my own ibadah, right? And I've got 100 million people to meet. I have so many people I know in Makkah. I totally forgot. But she was like, thank you for speaking to him. You fixed everything. Wallahi, I hadn't spoken to her. All she did was she made a commitment to Allah that when she goes back, she's not going to work in that job anymore. She's going to change her life. She's going to work in an Islamic institution or find a halal job. And that was the lesson for me. The lesson for me, my brothers and sisters in Islam, is what is stopping your dua from being accepted, wallahi. What is stopping your dua from being accepted? Find that one thing and make a commitment to change it. Okay? Find that one thing that is stopping your dua from being accepted, and you make a commitment for changing it. I know for me, it's I have to become a better son to my parents. I have to become a better son to my parents. And I know that our Prophet ﷺ told Umar, his Sahabi, to ask for dua from a tabi'i, someone who is not even a Sahabi. Right? Who was that person? Uwais al-Qarni from Yemen, right? Who was not even a Sahabi. Asked Umar to ask Uwais al-Qarni to make dua for Umar. Why? Because Uwais al-Qarni had a mother and he was very righteous. So I said, you know what? I'm making so much dua. Allah is hearing it. Allah should be able to answer it right then and there. How many righteous stories have you heard? When people make dua, straight away rain fell, right? Why is the rain not falling on me? Because something is stopping my dua from being accepted. I'm going to focus on removing those barriers. So I said to myself, I have to become a better person to my parents, right guys? And so I ask you all to just think, really ponder, really. And the best place I have found is in the depths of the night looking at the Kaaba. You're going to Makkah tonight, inshallah. What a beautiful package, mashallah. You're going to spend some really great time there. Mushkila is the hotels are too extravagant. Like you go in there, it's like you sit on that bed and it sinks halfway, and it's one of those really luxurious packages. Like up until now it was a coach class, I understand, yes. But now it suddenly becomes business class and first class. That's the mushkila, yeah? And so you're going to eat like a hog and you're going to sleep like a log. And that's a mushkila. But I don't want you to fall in love with the food or with the bed. I want you to fall in love with the fact that you are just a stone throw from the Kaaba. So sit looking at the Kaaba and really ask yourself. And you know, my mom told me something that has impacted me till today. I was a little kid when my mom was taking me around the Kaaba during Tawaf when I was a little kid. I moved to Saudi when I was 3 months old. When I was about 4 years old, my mom did Tawaf with me, I remember, and she told me something. She said, this Kaaba has a haqq upon you. She said, this Kaaba has a haqq upon you. So fulfill that haqq. Fulfill that haqq. She didn't mean the Kaaba, she meant the Lord of the Kaaba, right? But the Lord of the Kaaba has haq upon me. Until today, that's been my message of my life, is to fulfill my duty to the Lord of the Kaaba. So sit there looking at the Kaaba, thinking about what is stopping your dua from being accepted, and focus on that. Okay, everybody? Please focus on that. That's lesson number 1. The second thing I want to tell you all is, I'm sure you enjoyed some of the lectures I gave you, correct? Wouldn't it be great if you could start a plan for Islamic knowledge? Wouldn't it be great if you could learn a bit more about Islam, a bit more about tafsir of the Quran, a bit more about Islamic history? Wouldn't it be great? So I want you to start a plan for Islamic knowledge. Yeah? Something a bit more disciplined. I wouldn't say formal, but I would definitely say a bit more disciplined. I'm not asking you to join up to an Islamic university, nor am I asking to sign up to do an Islamic degree. But what I'm asking is a bit more discipline. Every single day I gain knowledge. Despite my busy time, I gain knowledge. And I have made it a goal of my life to read 4 books as many times as I can. One is Tafsir Tabari or Qurtubi, one of the big tafsir, as many times as I can. Number 2 is Fatawa bin Taymiyyah. Number 3 is Fathul Bari of Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, the great Shafi'i scholar, and his explanation of Fathul Bari, as many times as I can, right? And number 4 is Tafheed of Ibn Abdul Bar. So these are the 4 books that I plan to read as many times as I can. This is for me. I want you to have your own plan on what you should do, and have a plan of action on what books or what strategy to have. Some people don't go to sleep until they've seen one good lecture every day. It's easy. You have a favorite speaker, you know someone that you like, he appeals to you, he or she appeals to you, then don't go to sleep until you've seen that lecture every single day. And you know, there was a time when I got hooked onto some TV shows, I must say. I got hooked onto Friends once. Astaghfirullah. It was dumb, right? It was great. I know they finished it. Alhamdulillah, they finished it because, you know, alhamdulillah, I didn't get hooked onto Seinfeld or Raymond or Everybody Loves Raymond. No. But unfortunately, got hooked onto Breaking Bad and those other stuff. But the real thing that we should get hooked onto is something of Islamic knowledge. It's really interesting, I'm telling you. Really interesting. Perhaps get hooked onto Islamic history. Perhaps get hooked onto the tafsir of the Quran. Perhaps get hooked onto a book of hadith, right? Like Riyadh al-Salihin of Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah. But get hooked onto something or the other. And the nice thing is you're all about to go. Okay. And the nice thing is you're all about to go to Medina. Medina is full of bookstores. When I used to come here, I used to take 2 bags. 1 bag of clothes and all of those dates and all nonsense gifts that they want me to take, and a second bag full of books. And the nice thing about Medina as well is that there are these freight shops, right? Freight shops where you can actually buy 100 kilo of books and get them shipped to Australia, and by the time you reach Australia, it will reach there as well. Okay? So you don't have to worry about extra weight because those books are heavy. Those books are heavy. And you know, when I came to Medina, my wife, may Allah have mercy on her and make her my soulmate in Jannah, she sold her gold to help me buy books. And when I came to Medina, I was a very poor person. Then I became one of the wealthiest students. In Medina, I brought a treasure. I have 7 tons of Islamic books in my house. You should come to my house. 7 tons. Actually, you should help me move my house. Yeah? That would be the real test. But I have 7 tons of Islamic books. You should come to my house. And at the most rarest prints, I have a treasure in my house. Every day I sit with Abu Hanifa and with Imam al-Shafi'i and with Malik and with Imam Ahmed bin Hanbal. The next day I sit with Imam Tabari and I sit with Al-Qurtubi. And then I invite Ibn Kathir to my house and we have a really great time. We have coffee and tea, we talk about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do you know what I mean? It's the most enjoyable thing, wallahi. If you don't have good books, if you haven't really purchased a great library, if If your book is your mobile phone, if that's all your source of knowledge is, that's nonsense, because that also is the same thing that you use for, other non-Islamic things. So don't use the phone as your means of Islamic knowledge. Go and buy a great library. Go and buy a great library. It doesn't cost that much. A couple of $1,000 and you'll have a really good library. Concentrate something on tafsir. Concentrate something on aqeedah. Concentrate something on hadith. Concentrate something on Islamic history. Right, guys? And if you need a list, I can always write a list up for you, inshallah. I'll write down 5 different things, 5 different books in it. Okay, guys? Yeah? But first, let me go and buy shares in that bookstore that you're all going to buy books from. No, I'll send you a list, inshallah. I'll give you guys a list. If you're Arabs and you can speak some Arabic, I'll give you a list. And if you cannot speak Arabic, I'll give you another list, inshallah. Okay, guys? But the great thing is for those who speak in Hindi or Urdu or even Bengali, a lot of these books are also translated already, mashallah. So you should be able to benefit from them. But I'm telling you, start a new lead in your life. Every day I read for an hour. Every day I read for an hour. Yeah, and the one thing that successful people do more than others is read. Okay, guys? So please buy a library. Buy a library. And don't worry about the weight. I will tell you about an organization or a freight company where you can send all your books off. They don't charge that much. It only costs about a couple of hundred, like 500 riyals. And you can send 50 kilos back to Australia. That's great, isn't it? 50 kilos, 500 riyals. That's great. Sorry? And you also have 40 kilo allowance, mashallah, with your ittihad, which is great. Yeah? Fantastic. Please use this opportunity to buy some great books and don't let them become dust. And make sure you set up habits. So every day, for example, in my house, one of the children have to read a verse of tafsir, right? And then they have to try and explain it. They have to study it and they have to try and explain it, and then I add on a few things. In this way, our family gets together and we end up not only meeting over food, but we start meeting over an Islamic knowledge. And that's what changed my kids. My kids have changed totally, wallahi. I am so thankful to Allah, and then I'm thankful to Malaysia. Because Malaysia helped me to fix my kids. You know how? First of all, Malaysia has the worst TV channels. Alhamdulillah. It's all nonsense and it's rubbish. Who wants to watch SpongeBob SquarePants in Malay? It doesn't sound right. It just doesn't sound right. You know what I mean? Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah for SpongeBob SquarePants in Malay. Alhamdulillah. So they didn't watch TV. They said, like, doesn't make sense. I said, great. Kids, let's go run. Let's go out. That TV was destroying our life, And subhanAllah, as soon as you didn't have TV, we suddenly had swimming. We suddenly had horse riding. We suddenly had dad and mom. We suddenly had other things to do. Alhamdulillah. And that was very, very good. Please, 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 for the sake of Allah, get a good library and start reading on it. Inshallah. Okay. Number 3, a lot of you came to me with family problems. A lot of you came to me, not with family. I don't want to talk about children. I want to talk about husband and wife. Guys, you've got to start loving your wife. Guys, you've got to start loving your wife. You've got to fall in love with her again. And sisters, you've got to fall in love with your husbands. It's time to rekindle love. Real love? The day you got married, that electric shock you had when you touched your husband. I mean, I touched my wife and it's like, because the only other woman I touched was my mom, and she never gave me electric shock. You know what I mean? I did touch my auntie as well. But you've got to start falling in love with your wife and your spouses again. You've got to fall in love. And you can't just be, sometimes I see the relationship that you have. I know some of them is like, Ashuna! Ashtesito! Ashuna! I'm just doing a bit of a Bengali acting scene over here. You know what that means? It's like, come on already. Alright, I'm coming. Why are you talking to me like that? Alright, I'm coming. Hajj brought out the worst of us, right? The heat, the anger, the 31 kilometers of walking. Unbelievable, right? I actually walked 31 kilometers. I am so proud of myself. I'm going to sign up to the marathon, the Melbourne Marathon. At least I'll walk it. At least I'll walk it even if I can't run it, right? Because subhanAllah, it's unbelievable. We walked 31, one of the uncles walked 31 kilometers. That's like, mashallah, hats off to the sister, to the brother. But you've got to fall in love with your wife. You've got to fall in love with your wife. And it's your responsibility, brothers. You've got to rekindle it. Our Prophet ﷺ loved his wives. He loved his wives. He made his wives madly in love with him. He made his wives madly in love with him. So before he came into the house, he put perfume. He would brush his mouth. He would come into his wife with the most beautiful things. He would call his wife Aisha with Aish. Aish means a sweet, beautiful bread. Or he would call Aisha with Hamra. What does Hamra mean? The beautiful little red girl. What do you mean by red girl? Because she was so fair, in the heat of Medina you become red. Because you look like a tomato, right? Because you're red. And so Arab girls like to be called red. Why? Because that means you're so fair that you're red. Because of the heat. Ya Hamra, okay, ya should call her Hamra. And then Salama said, كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يدخل على إحدى نسائه فيقبلها حتى تضحك. The Prophet ﷺ used to enter upon his wives and keep on kissing her until she would say, stop, 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 from laughter. Meaning, he would kiss her on the mouth, and then he'd kiss her on the neck, and he would kiss her on the hands, he would kiss her everywhere until she would say, stop, 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 no more, no more. I mean, can you see this man? What is he? This is a Mills and Boons character. Do you know what I'm talking about? This is high romance. This is our Prophet ﷺ. What is wrong with us? You know what's wrong with us? I think our mustache is too sharp. Okay? Start trimming your bloody mustache, brothers. Okay? Or we stink. Or we just don't look good. Or we don't buy good clothes. Or we gotta get a bit more fit. Whatever it is, your wife still loves you. Your wife still loves you. She's still with you, right? She hasn't run away, correct? So she still loves you. It's still within her heart. But you have to rekindle that love. You have to, Allah. And Makkah, Medina is a great place to do that. Walk around with your wife's hand in hand. Ask Allah, oh Allah, enter love of my wife into my heart. The more love you have of your wife, the stronger you become. Believe me, you don't want to build a skyscraper on a foundation of matchsticks. You can't go out there and fight in the world in the morning, and at night, your relationship with your wife, you can't even touch her with pleasure. Looking at her doesn't give you the electric shock anymore. You know, for me, subhanAllah, I look at my wife and she falls pregnant. So it's like, that's it, I'm wearing hijab. I'm going to wear the niqab and you're going to wear the niqab from now on. That's it. It's set. It has to be. 8 kids. I can't keep changing my car. That's the mushkila. It's that car. I don't have any more cars to buy. It's going to be a big booster now. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing already. But subhanAllah, you've got to rekindle that love between your husband and wife. Okay? Sisters, come on. Stop being a man. Stop wearing the mustache. Yeah? Seriously. Really. Start being the gentle, loving, kind wife. The one that gives the husband confidence about his manhood. The one who gives confidence to the husband about his own ability to lead this family into Jannah and success in this dunya. The one who is so positive about the husband. Not always negative. Not telling him off. Do this, do that, you don't do this, you don't do that, you don't spend time. Hey, come on, the man already knows, man. Just be encouraging. Honey, can I help you to do something? Is there something I can help you that can help you spend more time with the kids, or take some responsibility off? I'm telling you, the more my wife helps me, the more my wife helps me, the more I love her. Yeah? And yes, it's true. The way to my heart is through my tummy. There's actually an artery that goes from my stomach into my heart. Yes, that's true. It is true. Yeah? You can go to my heart through my tummy. It's true. But in all truth, there is something else, sisters, that you can actually get to a husband's heart. And that is actually understanding a man and what he's going through. If you just understood us and what we're going through, the fitna that we see outside, the other women that tempt us, the fitna that we have of money that confuses us away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you only understood how shaitan plays on our heads, you would all be able to enter our hearts faster. And that's exactly what the wives of the Prophet ﷺ did. Zammiluni, zammiluni, the Prophet said. Cover me up, cover me up. Why? I think I'm going mad, I'm going mad. Kalla wallah. No, rather nay. Allah, kalla la yukhzik Allah. Allah will never ever disgrace you. Look at the positivity of this woman. Always positive, always caring. I mean, the man wanted to go for 6 months in the cave of Hira away from his wife. Instead of saying, you've got a family, you've got to look after here and go out for a holiday. No. She didn't say that. She would pack his bag so that this man could go and self-reflect. You've got to give your husband space. Give your husband space, understand him. If he's going away with his friends, it's not because he doesn't love you, he just needs his space. Give your man his space. Understand him, he will love you even more. Right, guys? Isn't that true? And sisters, loving your wife is very easy. She doesn't need that gold and heavy jewelry anymore. She doesn't need that. That doesn't pleasure her anymore. What pleasures her is different small things. This is what I used to do to pleasure my wife. Every day I bought her a flower. Every day I bought her a flower. On the way to my house, there was a flower shop. I made a deal with the guy. Listen, every day one rose, $3. He would have a rose. Even when I came late, there was always a rose lying down on the ground. So I'd pick it up. I knew that would be. Wallah, my wife loved me. And that's why I think after Yusuf came, Aisha within like 10 months, like what the hell happened there? And then came Zainab, and then came Ibrahim, and then came La ilaha illallah. We couldn't stop until it was Asiya, until it was Maryam. Like Maryam, I said, that's it, I'm away. That's it, I've had enough, you've had enough, move for me. So listen, in all truth, find out what your wife loves. Sometimes it's a flower, sometimes it's just household chores. Sometimes it's just helping the kids. Sometimes it's just doing the bed, sometimes doing the washing, sometimes it's just mopping the floor or vacuuming. Believe me, find out what your wife likes and just do that, and you will find, subhanAllah, that she will love you back. Okay? I'm telling you. But you have to work on it. You have to work on it. The more you strengthen that love, the more stronger you become. I have become stronger, able to do so many projects because I know when I go back home, my heart, my mind is comfortable because I have a princess at home who understands me. And she will be a princess for me, for all my needs. Are we clear, everybody? And if you really, really, really don't like your wife, you've tried everything, then for God's sake, just divorce her. Seriously, you don't like her, let this poor lady go. Sisters, you hate your husband, you just can't. Come on, man, there's enough men on this world. Just let him go. Enough men, Allah will send. Zainab never thought that after divorcing the son, the adopted son of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that she would ever get anyone better. A divorced woman that divorces the adopted son would get someone better? No. That's not possible, but she did. And so, leave your trust in Allah. If you cannot be with your wife, if you cannot rekindle love, if even kissing her puts her off, if she hates the sight of you, it's time to let her go or just move on. And Islam has given us that opportunity. But if you feel that there is an opportunity to rekindle that love, then you should work on it. You should work on it. Are we clear, everybody? It doesn't matter what age. It doesn't matter what age. And I'm not talking about sleeping only. I'm talking even touching your wife should be a pleasure. Walking with her in the park should be a pleasure. I'm walking with my friend. You know what I'm talking about? I want to go with my wife to the cafe, not with my friends. I want to go and spend, a dinner. I'm looking forward to have a dinner with my wife. You know what I mean? I should look forward to that. And that is exactly, like now my heart is missing my wife. I want to go back home and I want to actually take her out and go for a dinner. You know what I mean? And just tell her how my Hajj went. I'm looking forward to that dinner, right? Yes, subhanAllah. And that is exactly what I would want you to build, inshallah. Love for your wife is very, very important. Okay. The fourth lesson I have for every single person is so many people came and complained to me directly about their children. Children. I get sick and tired of this. It's as if I know any better how to raise kids. I'm so sorry, I'm still learning. I don't know yet. I haven't taken a course in parenting, nor am I any expert. But alhamdulillah, certain things I'm doing right, many things I'm doing wrong. But there's one major thing I did different that changed my life. You know what that is? I stopped blaming the kids. I started blaming myself. I said to myself, there are no bad children. There's only bad parents and bad teachers. There's only bad parents and bad teachers. I stopped blaming my children for the way they brush their teeth, for the way that their cupboards are unorganized, for them becoming fat, for them not going out and running and playing, for them not spending their time with Quran and others, and spending too much time with electronic items. I stopped blaming them, I started blaming myself. And wallahi, my kids started changing. My kids started changing. If you see every fault in your kids as a fault in you as a parent, I guarantee you, your children will improve. Are we clear? Start changing yourself, wallahi. Don't blame your kids anymore. Haram, wallah, haram. Haram, man. They're really innocent people. Do kids lie? Wallahi, no. But we make them lie. We pressure them into it. They're so innocent, wallahi. Haven't you seen them? So positive. So full of ideas. So fresh. No sins, wallahi. But we are the ones who destroy their lives. No, 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 no. Do this, do that. We blame them as if they are the ones who are meant to know. What are you doing? Blame yourself. If you see your son doing something wrong, blame yourself. I remember Yusuf stole from me once. I blamed Yusuf for it. I should have blamed myself that I wasn't a better example. And I remember reading Mahatma Gandhi's story, and you should listen to this. Even though Gandhi was Gandhi, perhaps he wasn't a Muslim, but listen to his story. He said, I will never speak a lie. And the reason why is because I learned it from my father. He said, I used to go with my father to the shop. One day my father gave me 1 rupee. A rupee at that time was a lot of money. He said, gave me 1 rupee and said, can you go downstairs and buy me some pens? You know, at that time they used to use those pens that they used to dip into ink and write. So I went downstairs and I bought some pens and I gave it to my father and I gave him the change. So my father said to me, has the price of pens gone up that you've given me less change? Has the price of pens gone up that you've given me less change? I know my kids actually, when do they take money? It's when they're changing things, right? Convenient at that time. So, has the price of pens gone up that you're giving me less change? He said, yes. Price of pens have gone up. So listen to what his father said. He said, my father said, he looked down on his table and he said, it must be something I have done for which you are lying to me today. I'm going to punish myself for the rest of the week. So he said, for the rest of the week, my father walked without shoes from his office to his house. And I saw his feet bleeding. And I used to walk behind him. Every single day when he insisted on not taking his horse, when he insisted on walking without shoes from his office to his house to punish himself. And I saw him walking and I said to myself, Wallahi, he said, I will never ever lie again. Yeah? Why don't you punish yourself if your children do something wrong? Punish yourself if your children do something wrong and make your children see that. Wallahi, the guilt will kill them, they will change forever. They will change forever. Blame yourself, don't blame your kids. Okay guys? Take a parenting course, read about how to help your kids. Blame yourself, don't blame anyone else. Sa'id ibn Musayyib, one of the great scholars, used to look at his child and he used to say, Ya bunayya, oh my son, la azidanna min salati min ajlik. I'm going to increase in my salah because of you, oh my son. Because of you, I'm going to pray more, oh Allah, oh Allah. Why? Because if I pray more, perhaps Allah will guide your heart. If I give more sadaqah, perhaps Allah will give you wealth. If I work for Allah's cause, perhaps Allah will give me time with you in Jannah. And that's what the dua I make. How much time I've spent in da'wah. My kids have grown up. Yusuf was a beautiful boy. And he grew up without me. So I make dua, oh Allah, I spent my time in da'wah. You replace it with time in Al-Firdaus. Yeah? And that is the most beautiful dua. Because then Allah will guide his heart to Al-Firdaus and my heart to Al-Firdaus, right? So my brothers and sisters in Islam, change the situation with your kids by changing yourself first. Are we clear? Do not blame your children anymore. Blame yourself, and I swear to God, your kids will become better than you. I swear to Allah. Okay. The fifth thing I want to tell you guys is a lot of you told me it's the first time you came to Makkah and Medina. Can you tell me how many of you came to Makkah and Medina before? Is this you came before? Okay. For who is it the first time? Oh my God. How many people? First time Makkah, Medina. Hey guys, you've got to start a new relationship with Makkah, Medina. A new relationship starts now. You know what I mean? This is our battery. This is where we recharge. Isn't it right? This is where we recharge. This is where we get our energy boost. Seeing the Kaaba and the people praying, coming for Umrah, this is our energy boost. Go to the Prophet's masjid, see where the Sahaba were, see where Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali radiyallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'in, where they lived. This is what gives us that shiver down our spine, right? You've got to start a new relationship with Makkah, Medina. Every single year, make it a goal to come for Umrah at least. It's not that expensive, not that expensive. I think within $2,000, you can actually get a cheap ticket, and you can actually just come and do a quick hurricane, 3-4 day, 2 days in Makkah, 2 days in Medina trip and go back. Yeah? Very quick. But I recharge my Iman every 3 to 4 months by coming to Makkah, Medina. Every few months, I need it. I need it. Why? Because the grind in the West, wallahi, it kills your heart. It kills your heart. The constant plowing for money and fame and glory and name, it just destroys the heart. But when you see Allah, or you see Allah's signs, and you see the Prophet ﷺ, where he lived, on his grave, wallahi, it changes every perspective. So start a new relationship with Makkah, Medina. Okay guys? Seriously. Ask Allah for it. Where's the money? Come on man, you're talking to Allah, the King of the heavens and the earth. We'll give it to you. $2,000, $3,000. Just a quick trip. Take a week off. Boom. Come. I feel good again. I feel really good again. I just came and I just recharged my Iman. A lot of us that constantly come here, Sister Junaiga, Brother Arif, and our Brother Masood and others who are Hajj Tour and Umrah Tour package operators, they come quite frequently, they don't realize. But how, they are finding their nutrition and their nourishment by coming to Makkah, Medina regularly. The rest of us, we have to start that habit, inshallah. Okay guys? I know some of you are even making dua, Allah bring me to Medina or Makkah to live. May Allah Azza wa Jal make it happen for you and give you an opportunity to live in these countries. And subhanAllah, if it wasn't for the Haramain, why would you come here, right? It is the Haramain, and it gives you a great opportunity to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alright. Many of you told me about the fact that your life is very, very difficult. Life is full of problems, and even Hajj you could not rest. The number of emails, number of phone calls, SMSs, WhatsApp messages that you're having to deal with is nonsense. I am not a very organized person, very messy, but I'm very organized. You know what I mean? My life is super organized, very organized. I run a hospital in Malaysia, and I'm building a few more hospitals now, inshallah. I run a school, now I'm building a few more schools. We have over 10,000 people that work with us in Mercy Mission. And now, alhamdulillah, also I'm a doctor, and alhamdulillah, I haven't lost my medical knowledge. I have 8 children and 1 wife, alhamdulillah. So that's still alright. Okay? And I have all of my other things that I'm now working on in my business sector. I do all of this while still having the time to come and sleep and lose weight. And alhamdulillah, recently lost over 50 kilos. Alhamdulillah. How the hell can I do it? It's very simple. I surrounded myself with great people. That's it. I surrounded myself with people that complete me. So I wrote down, what am I? Who am I? Who is Tawfique? I said, Tawfique is unorganized, but I'm a visionary. I have vision, but I lack the discipline. Correct? I know how to build a project, but I lack financial discipline, for example. Okay? So I wrote down what I'm weak in, and I put around me people that complete me. Do you know how many PAs I have, personal assistants? I have 5 full-time PAs. 5 full-time PAs. I don't remember the last time I booked my ticket. I don't remember the last time I even booked my meetings. I don't remember the last time I paid for my phone bill, paid my rent. I don't even know how to pay my rent. I have no idea. I don't know my own account numbers. I don't know my own credit card numbers, some of them. My PAs run my life. I simply say, Alifa, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, thank you, salam. That's it, done. Okay? WhatsApp message with an audio of 3 things in my mind, that's it, all done. Yeah? You understand what I'm saying? You've got to get one PA. Where the hell do you find a PA? Where the hell do you find a PA? Well, I started off on odesk.com. Odesk.com. Online, I found a PA in Philippines. They'll charge me $2 to $4 an hour. They will charge me for the number of hours I work, and wallahi, she helped me a lot. I got a female because, you know, females are just organized. Males are just like, La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Make them remember Allah. La ilaha illallah. But sisters are very organized, right? Sisters are very organized. So I got a female PA, and mashallah,